So, Fortune, when you first received this information, because you got connected to the sector net again, you requested another, did you say it was whiskey on the rocks?
Yep.
And after downing the first one, what's the rest of your evening look like?
I am trying to find shady work.
Okay. Do you have any more definition to that? Like,
yeah, anybody need something done? Like somebody done, somebody dead.
So are you just walking around asking people if they need anyone murdered, or?
I'm just wearing a sign saying "Contract Killer for Hire."
Yeah, no, totally.
No.
But I am curious, like, how do you go about doing that? Like,
well, that's I mean, is there like a job board? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it has quests. It says kill 5 bears. It says collect 80 rat feces. And you have to bring them to the innkeeper, who is consequently the person that cooks all the food.
Oh yeah, okay. That sounds like a good stew. No,
like, so you have some base level knowledge of like accessing like the darknet, right?
Yeah, but I don't really, especially knowing what I know now, I don't know if I really want to be using anything like a compad that would send out a signal saying, "Hey, Fortune's over here."
Yeah, probably would.
So, I'm trying to probably, hopefully, finding like a really grungy bar or something.
Okay. I will admit to you, you're on the wrong planet for that.
Well, yeah, but the grungiest of Paphos.
Sure.
Not Paphos,
so you,
but Eurypylos.
Yeah, Eurypylos.
Euryopolis.
It's Eurymedon, actually. I don't know why we keep calling Eurypylos. Wait, no, I have the wrong planet up. Hold.
Yeah, you do.
It is Eurypylos. Why do I have the wrong planet up? I pulled up the wrong planet. I apologize to everyone and everything about everyone. There we go. Well, that's not confusing at all. Okay, much better. So... yeah, I mean, I think that you can go, like, hunting and being shady, but I don't think it's going to be easy. The people of Eurypylos are generally content with their existences and don't have a whole lot of need for that kind of work, but there's always a hint of desperation where one looks hard enough.
But the people who want it are going to pay a lot for it because they can't get it done. That's my thought process.
Perhaps. I think that this is going to require a culture criminal check for me. And I think that it will require... I think it's with intelligence.
That's no good. Yep.
So
Fortune smash.
Better, right? The kitty, right?
Yeah, I think maybe you
Kidding.
Unexpectedly
I mean,
misjudged
the
strength.
Strong here.
Will,
right? Yeah,
I blame you, Will. So you know.
Yeah, no, I think
blame you.
I think that's exactly what happened. You misjudged the strength of the liquor on the cleanest planet in the world, in the universe. And like, yeah, you bar hop and you get like 1 drink at each place, right? But next thing you know, like 6 drinks later, you're like sitting there, like, you know, kind of gazing out on the crowd, and the alarms to clean begin to go off, and so you start like counting them, like, okay, that's 1, I've been here for this amount of time. Okay, that's 2, I've been here for this amount of time. And then you realize that the alarms are like every 2 hours, and you've been here most of the night. And the place is closing up. It's like 4 a.m. local time. And you probably realize, like, you've actually been kind of asleep, like, with your eyes open the whole time, right? That kind of thing that you do when you're drunk, when you just kind of zone out listening to, like, the klaxons go off every 2 hours. And the bartender comes over and he kind of, like, knocks on the table, and he says, "Oi, mate! You got to get out of here.
Why?
We's closing up."
What? Why?
Yeah, I think he kind of like points to the like neon digital wall clock, and you
Okay.
see that it's like 4 a.m. local time.
I probably blink a couple of times, rub my eyes once or twice. Does that say it's 40, 24, 42? What kind of time is that? What does that mean?
I think he says, "Aye, if you can't read the damn clock, read your own. But you gotta get out."
I probably look at my like little compad. Oh, okay. Do you know which way the spaceport is from here?
Yeah, and I think he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll show you," and he like escorts you up into the door, and then he like points in a direction. He's like, "Just follow the road here," and then closes the door and locks it.
Yeah, I attempt staggering down the road.
Yeah, I assume after about an hour, because it's not a huge city area, you eventually find like you sober up enough after not having drinks for like a couple of hours now.
Mm-hmm.
And you're able to find your way back to where the group is staying. Or do you want to go back to the ship?
Yeah, I want to.
Oh, yeah, if you want to go back to the ship, that's totally cool too.
Hold on. I'm thinking. I hadn't considered that. Because I forgot they weren't staying on the ship.
Yeah, they're not on the ship. Because it's very hard to like come in and out every day, so might as well get a place.
Does he remember that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
Probably not. But I'd probably get to the spaceport, like, somewhat drunk. And think, I don't want to go through security.
Yeah.
So I look around and I see probably like the first flyer for like a hotel.
Yep.
That looks good. And is it or is it not the same hotel? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, roll a luck save is appropriate in this instance. Yeah, it's totally the same hotel.
Okay.
Yeah, so you like head over there, and maybe you like get there, and
It may have dampened his wits, but not his instincts.
yeah, you knock on a door because you think it's like the lobby.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar, you're probably the first to wake up if the door is knocked upon, right?
At what time is this? Did we establish?
Like 5 in the morning.
5:30.
He's up. He's already
Yeah,
up.
right. Yeah, so you come to the door. You look through the the little screen that shows you who's outside, and you see Fortune like heavily leaning on the door frame.
Yeah.
I'd like to book a room. Hello.
He
Do you have vacancy?
opens the he opens the door and he just snatches Fortune and flings him into the room.
Yeah, like by the clothes and just like yanks him in. Sure.
Yeah, and he shuts the door quick behind him.
Everybody else probably wakes up at that point because the room's not huge. It's
Appropriately.
Yeah, you just go tumbling.
You just throw me to the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, "Do you recall what it is we're doing here?"
Oscar, you need to have a drink here.
Let me remind you. We are trying desperately, I might add, to avoid notice, suspicion.
Why?
Fortune, let's get you to bed.
No, we gotta go get a drink. The whiskey here is amazing. We need to go get a drink.
I can tell. It would seem that way, wouldn't it, Fortune?
No, it is. It's good.
Fortune, you must accept that sometimes I am right, and today I am right about you needing to get some rest.
You know what you need? You need to hide. Because there's Clarice and a contract.
Do you pass out at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He vomits and then passes out.
Yeah. No, well, hold on.
Do you do like the in your mouth a little bit and then swallow?
No, yeah, I puke everywhere.
Yeah, just
Yep.
all over the floor. And by the way, again, the other two of you are up. Chan is obviously not awake.
Let's hope not.
I thought he was so loud and belligerent that it would have even
It just
woken up.
magically healed Chan. Yeah, totally.
I feel like as he vomits everywhere, Go-Go would wake up at that point.
You've
and
been
be
too
like,
much for Go-Go
I'm not
to sleep
cleaning
through.
that. I'm not cleaning that shit up.
No. For Oscar walks over, turns him on his side, like that thing where you pull the arm out.
The recovery
and then leaves him. Yeah, and he leaves him on the floor.
Yeah, at that time the cleaning klaxons go off.
Yeah, probably. Yep, totally. Appropriately, I think the cleaning klaxons go off.
Are there-
Go-Go just looks over at Dr. Fisher and then pulls the covers over her head.
Yep.
Are there bots in this room?
No, there are no bots, but there is probably like cleaning supplies that like a door lifts up on the wall, and it's like presented with fresh cleaning supplies for whoever's staying in the room.
Yeah, I dutifully
Yeah.
start cleaning.
Yeah, and it's not like you throw kitty litter on and you wipe it up. You probably have like a vacuum type that just like pulls it right up and it's gone, right? It's TL4 stuff. We don't mess around with vomit on the ground.
Says, he's ripped, but this is concerning. Did either of you hear what he just said?
Go-Go pretends to be asleep.
No, Go-Go probably is
Go-Go
asleep.
is asleep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Let's be totally real about that for a second.
Meg, what's your computer skill?
My what?
What is your skill with computers?
I think it might be a 0.
You know who's got a decent skill at computers?
He's currently scrubbing vomit off our enforcer.
Oh no, I have a -1.
Okay, never mind.
I was gonna say Chan, but yeah, no. I think Dr. Fisher also has a computer skill.
I do have
Yeah.
some pretty good tech ones, but not computers. Continue, proceed. In other words, you don't need to wake Go-Go up.
Yeah, that was just...
Yeah, the
We should have known Go-Go has a terrible computer skill. Didn't she, like, really fuck things up that last battle? Trying to use her computer skill?
No, that was
No.
just timing.
Mm.
She
I actually rolled
did
real well.
good, but it was only an issue because I was trying to put on my armor.
Okay. So Fisher sucks up the vomit and sprays probably this magic cleaner that makes the entire room smell fresh and clean as the day, and it probably like removes stains and then dries itself. You know, crazy stuff in the future.
Nice.
Fisher.
I do the look at the fourth wall and the this new cleaning product from Silic Bang is the best in the world.
Yeah, you're right. This is the sponsored episode. This episode was brought to you by
Pledge.
Pledge. Yeah,
Dawn.
Hashtag ad.
Mr.
something.
Clean.
I think you meant by splidge.
Yeah, Spledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he says, Fisher, I don't know how much stock I put into him right now, but did you hear what he said?
I heard muttering about Claris Group. It was
He
said,
said contract.
huh. Should we be worried? Because I feel like we should be worried.
Might have
More
meant
so
something
than we're
that's
already
on
worried.
planet. But we had been working together on the previous one, mentioned nothing about coming here. Don't expect he would have been quite as resistant to come here if he did have work.
Let's just try to deal with one situation at a time. How's that sound?
Unless you think you can get into his compad, we can chalk it up to the whiskey for now. judging by his smell.
Well, we've got some time till morning, when I shall seek the broker.
Okay. So you want to hack his compad?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I don't know that we've.
Well, he has two, right? He's got his personal, and he's got the
Yeah.
what's that, Westwind compad? That's the people you used to work for.
So when I say I don't know, what I mean is I don't know if we are in danger enough. Drunk I'm trying not to metagame it. Drunk rambling fortune comes in, says like 90% fully incoherent ramblings.
Yeah, that's basically correct.
And then shortly before passing out and throwing up on himself, says something about a contract.
Yep. Yeah, it's not a lot to go on, or to be solid in your your theories.
Yeah.
If we want
back
to,
up and say,
yeah,
it's probably just him being him. I'm sure it'll be fine.
we'll
we've
ask
got
him
a lot
again
to-
once he sobers up.
Yeah, we've got a lot to do in the next few days, so let's get some sleep.
So, you return to sleep, and about 4 hours passes, and about 8 o'clock local time, which doesn't matter too much because we do things a bit abstractly. But Fortune, you actually wake up probably around this time, and everybody's probably up moving around, or drinking their morning coffee, and probably stepping over you because you're on the floor still. And you don't even need to make a save for it, but you have no hangover.
Oh, that's nice.
I
I was about to say, this is going to be really terrible.
Right,
Whereas
so
that
when
hammer-
alcohol is so clean that it just
Yeah.
there's no dirt or rime in it,
Yeah.
it leaves you sweat it out, basically, right? Like,
Nice.
between losing your stomach and the cold sweat overnight, it's basically gone. You still smell real bad, but yeah, I mean, someone could probably get drunk off of your pores right now, but yeah, no, you feel fine. Like, maybe a little woozy. Your shoulder is probably like a little sore from when you fell on the floor, right? But nothing really adverse. But you wake up fairly clear-headed.
Nice. I wake up very confused, and I'm just kind of looking around.
You do that's probably what we see. You're like lying in between two beds, and we just see like a shot from across the beds, and then we just see your head and shoulders come up and like look around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Oscar, are you doing the lean against the table with the coffee in your hand and your arms crossed, like the disappointed father figure?
No, it's not the father figure. It's more like the half annoyed but mostly bemused college roommate. Like,
Right, sure, yeah. Like,
I'm glad that you suffered because you woke me up. Now tell me about it.
yeah. Now tell me what happened, because it sounds like fun.
Yeah, so since the authorities have not rained down on them asking questions yet,
Right,
he's
sure.
okay
Yeah.
with what happened. But he just says good morning, sunshine. How was your evening?
Short.
Short doesn't seem to add up with the facts, but
What facts?
you came in at about 5.
Hold on. I need to make another roll.
Yeah, no
Okay,
problem.
I remember everything.
Your
like,
acuity is
yeah.
5.
Is it? So it begins
That's
coming
right.
back to you when I say
Yeah.
5.
I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it ties
that
back
guy
to
was
the
really
clocks,
wrong.
right? It ties back to the
Yeah.
clocks, because like there was the clock on his compad, there was the clock on the wall, there was the clock on that email he received. Like,
Yeah.
that's what ties it back in together. Or maybe like the klaxons go off, right? And you.
Yeah, I remember counting
Yep.
the bells
Exactly.
last night. Yeah.
Mhm.
You're like, oh, yeah,
What else do you remember?
I drank a lot. Actually, no, I didn't drink a lot. I just got hammered. I don't know how that happened.
The good old Yuri Pilos whiskey. Never fails.
No, it does not.
You should have seen me in my college days. Oh, those were some messy nights.
Trying to imagine Dr. Fisher going to college parties is hilarious, I'm sure.
What do you remember about when you got back?
You threw me on the floor. That wasn't very nice.
No, you... I pulled you inside. Saying I threw you is perhaps a distortion of the facts.
Well, my shoulder hurts, so I don't know.
This is the planet to fix that up on. I'm not concerned.
I start like rotating my arm. Just a little sore. No big deal.
You, shortly before evacuating your stomach, mentioned something about a contract. I know you're not here on a contract. Otherwise, you wouldn't have put up so much resistance.
I mean, the contract.
Do I have
pilot
to buy
got
you
canceled.
whiskey to get the information back out of you, or?
I'd probably be like, well, the contract that I had for Violet got canceled. Because, well, not canceled, but completed, not by me.
You said we had to be careful. Careful doesn't sound like somebody scooped you.
Actually, that's not even what he said. He said you have to hide.
Oh.
Which is, I think, far worse.
I'm paraphrasing.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have any contracts right now.
You don't.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, see, Oscar, as I said last night, he apparently doesn't know anything, so he's probably just drunk and rambling again.
I mean, I seem to remember drunk and rambling quite a bit.
The little text box comes up. Oscar will remember
Oscar
this.
will remember this. yeah, totally.
It's like minus 90.
So, what's the plan, guys? Do we have one? I guess I should ask too. How much is Fortune filled in?
Actually, I'd like to play.
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah.
If someone wants to try to tell me.
So it seems as though the interrogation is over.
Well, I need to go find our information broker. Sorry, Go-Go, but can I ask for another transfer of credit?
So Gogo's sitting over in the corner having breakfast with Chan, like ignoring you.
It really is Weekend at Bernie's. Holy shit.
And like she has her coffee and she pops something from her pocket into her mouth and downs the coffee, and without answering you just takes out her compad and transfers you the money back over. Just says whatever you need.
Thank you, Go-Go. Now then, I shall be back in a few hours. As I
Peace.
head off.
My cat's doing a weird thing. He is cooing. I've never heard a cat coo before, but anyway. It's like a dove or a pigeon.
Did your cat recently eat a dove or a pigeon?
No, but he's fucking fat enough he could have.
Oh, okay.
Fucking fatty. Okay, so Dr. Fisher leaves to go on his, puts his belt on and strides out of the room with his jacket. Because, again, it's cold, remember? And you said you wanted to, ask a question, Fortune?
No, I was just going to wait and see if someone told me anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, are the other two going to film it?
Yeah, Dr. Fisher didn't.
You left? Fisher's gone?
Yeah, Fisher left.
Yep. Hey, I'm not going to be telling more people about the
Yeah.
worldwide secret.
It's true. He's already committed treason twice now, so, I mean...
Is Gogo
Is
awake?
there-
Yeah, she's
is it-
eating. Okay.
Is there breakfast anywhere other than in the room other than next to Chan?
It's probably one of those things where you can, go push a couple of buttons, and in a few minutes, it appears.
Then yeah, I go order.
It's like
breakfast.
robotic room service, right?
Yeah.
It, comes in a dumbwaiter or similar receptacle.
Probably the same place that the cleaning supplies came from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I go order breakfast then.
Yeah. Is there... So I assume there is that, moment of silence where, the only noise is, Gogo's fork hitting the plate. And, the kind of, I'm assuming there's a monitor or something hooked up to Chan. Maybe, just the very, very low hum of mechanical workings.
Beep.
Yeah.
Beep.
Yeah. Oscar, what are you doing after Dr. Fisher leaves?
He probably makes chit-chat for a few moments. But he's...
Are the
he's-
eggs here any good?
Hmm.
Maybe. No.
Can't be as good as the liquor.
Maybe I can get whiskey for breakfast. No. I
Fortune,
can't. Huh? Yeah. Huh?
are you going to aid in this, or would you like to do your own thing while we're on planet?
Nope.
That wasn't a yes or no answer.
The less I know, the better here. I made my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
Fair enough.
I mean, unless someone's about to die, then give me a call. But
That already happened.
no, he's dead.
Beep. Beep.
Well, yeah. So, I don't think there's actually a heart monitor because technically his heart's not really pumping right now because he has to be kept in
Yes, that's fairly true, yeah.
Yeah, he has to be kept
He's
in
in-
complete stasis.
Yeah.
Nothing is moving in him.
Yep. But no, I mean, I think that conversation is going to be basically nothing more than eggs.
Yep.
Then, if he's not involved, then there is no reason to discuss the particulars.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess then we jump over to Dr. Fisher. Dr. Fisher, I want to get a quick mental state check of Dr. Fisher. What's your general demeanor? Are you excited? Are you stressed out? Are you
All of the above.
right? Are you nonchalant? Are you passive to all of this going on?
Oh, I'm definitely not passive. It's, yeah, there's sort of a constant cold sweat going on.
Yeah, so just the small of your back is just a little damp at all times.
But, there is the excitement that if this all works, then I'll have made the biggest scientific discovery of my lifetime.
Yeah, totally. Okay. So I assume the method that you would like to go about finding an information broker is a culture check.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead and make me a culture check, Yuri Pylos with intelligence. And I don't think it's going to determine whether or not you find an information broker. I think it's going to determine the accuracy and validity of information that you find.
Okay.
Not bad.
Not
Okay.
bad, not bad.
So a 10 is pretty good. So yeah, so I think that you know that this particular city center is a little bit removed from the major city centers, and so the information is probably a little more readily available here because the general populace may or may not need to know certain things at certain times. Like, you know, avoid it, and it may be, it doesn't speak to specifics. Like, it doesn't say why you should avoid a certain area. It doesn't say, like, you know, make sure that you're armed if you go here. Like, it doesn't say any of that, obviously. It's all kind of like those, we get these, I'm using an example from my personal history, so it may not translate, but we get these emails at work called Pardon Our Stardust, which is basically like when the company is doing work on a certain area of the parks or, you know, of the land area, they send out this blast email to everybody in the, like, everybody that works in the area saying, hey, we're going to be doing this, like, you won't be able to access, like, this, and this. It's a similar concept, right? Like, there's probably a general information area that kind of has this, but you do have to decipher between what is actually, like, a governmental project going on and what isn't, right? And so that you can't do just with the look of the eye, and that's where the information broker comes in. And so probably your first step is you go and you figure out exactly kind of, you know, where these breaks are. You look, you download the entire listing of things to do at Yuri Pylos in the immediate vicinity, right? And you discover that there are a couple of areas that appear to be blocked for various reasons, right? Like, they give a whole bunch of different reasoning behind them. Like, you know, there's going to be a testing going on here. There's going to be some major construction for a new amusement park. Like, you know, that kind of shit. And so with your 10, you then begin kind of rifling through the data trails that lead to who's accessing this information. And you're able to identify, like, and this is, maybe it was a computer check, but it's also culture to kind of figure out what's going on here. But you're able to identify where, like, individuals are picking up information and where, like, you know, advertisements are like, hey, we need to get all this information so we know what to do, where, like, major corporations are picking up this information. You're able to trace the data trails back to a reasonably valid source according to your findings. And it's actually, it comes back to a listing of, it's, yeah, it's probably, Bradley Nielsen, and he appears to be attorney at law. And he's got a small office in one of the complexes here in the city.
Okay.
And you reasonably assume he might be an information broker that can help you out.
Yeah.
Which, you know, if you're an information broker, a lawyer's pretty good cover.
That's definitely. So I go seek an appointment.
All right. So you head over to the office, and when you enter in, the sound kind of dies down from outside. The grav vehicles and stuff going by and people talking kind of dies down. It appears that it's pretty well insulated in the room. And there's a man sitting behind, like, this glass window at a desk, and you can see there's, like, two other people kind of just, like, hanging out in the waiting area. It's kind of similar to like a doctor's office, maybe, or like a clinic or something. And you walk in and you walk up to the counter, and the man behind the counter, he says, "Oh, very well. What can I do for you?"
Oh, I am in need for some legal advice, as you'd say. I heard you were the best one around these parts.
Yeah, I think he kind of laughs and he's like, "Oh, oi mate, not me. That's the boss. But I can get you in touch. Go ahead and put your sign in right there in the And the clip, and you can see like there's a little tab for you to like sign in.
Yeah. I take it and wait.
Yeah, and it's like please take one, right? And you take it, and it's like a little tablet, right? And you take it back to your back to the seat, and you fill out like your name, what you're doing here, you know, etc., etc. So what do you put on like the, if there was a line that said, you know, what are you here for consultation for? What do you put in the line?
Lawyers' advice about the big secret.
You just put that? Okay. Sure. And you finish and you click submit, and then you go and you place the thing back in the little tray. And you wait around, you see the two people, one goes in, a woman with like probably her kid, like maybe like, I don't know, 7 years old. She takes him back, and it comes back out, and you can see that she appears to be like kind of happy as she leaves. Then there's another man that goes in and comes out, and he's like kind of red in the face, and his eyes are kind of puffy, like maybe he was crying. And then finally your name is called to go back, and you head back, and there's a long hallway with like a small break room. You can see there are some like along this hallway, along the sides, there's like a mechanical room, and there's like another office that says it says paralegal right on it, and you can see that there's a woman in there like kind of dutifully like working away on whatever she's working on for him. And the receptionist, he leads you back, and he opens the door for you, and he says, it's a pleasure. And you know, you enter into this very kind of luxurious office. It's got probably a real wooden desk, which is not common, and it has like these very, like, it's probably got like a bookcase, typical if you've seen like a rich attorney's office. Imagine that.
Yeah.
And you can see a man who appears to be I would say that he is valiantly fighting a losing battle with his hairline. His widow's peaks are very high, and you can see that the back is probably like, it's very thin and wispy, but it's like kind of like matted down to kind of cover the bald spot, as it were. And he's got a pair of glasses on, very thin, like reading glasses. And you can see him, he's kind of leaned back in his like red cushioned chair, with like one leg crossed over the other, and he's reading something on a combat, and he looks up and he gives you a big beaming smile, and he sets it down, and he says, yes, you must be Dr. Philip Fisher. It is a pleasure. And he walks around the desk to shake your hand.
Yeah.
And he's like, please have a seat. And there's some very comfortable chairs, cushioned chairs, kind of in front of his desk. And you sit down, and he says, so, I took a look here at what you put on the external consultation, and I'm curious as to what you might mean by that.
Well, I heard that if I was looking for legal advice that may cost a lot more, then you were the one to talk to.
He's like, legal advice? Well, what exactly do you have yourself into? Or are you looking to perhaps win someone else's funding?
I'm trying to do my best to hint at I'm not here for legal advice.
Yeah, no, he's waiting.
There's no immediate like trial to date. I just merely want the consultation.
I see. Well, let's see what we can do here. And he begins like typing on his data slab, and he looks over a few times and gives you a nod and a smile. He's like, these computers sometimes they take a bit longer to warm up and boot up than some of the other devices around here. And he's like, you know, typing and typing and typing, and there's like a long momentary like minute there. And he says, very interesting, yes. Hold on one moment for me. And he kind of gets up from his seat, and as he goes to like walk out the door, he kind of motions at the table, and you can see there's like a glass pitcher with some water and a couple of glasses, and he says, "Feel free to help yourself. I'll be only a moment." And he walks out and closes the door behind you. About 5 minutes pass. What do you do?
I'm already in the shitter, so I wait here.
Okay. So he
Is this like that Far Cry game where if you just sit patiently long enough, you win?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That is a
Like
real
you
thing
get the
that happens.
secret ending if you don't do anything irrational.
Yep, absolutely. So about another 5 minutes pass, and the esteemed lawyer comes back in, and you can see like he takes off his coat and he kind of like hangs it up and he kind of like shivers and he's like, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I had an emergency call that I had to go take care of. Now, if you'll do me the kindness of extending me your contact information, I can have the information you desire forwarded over to you."
Yes, I thank you for your hard work ethic. So I hand him my contact information.
Yeah. And he takes it down, and he you see him pull out his own compad and just punch in a bunch of numbers and send something. And he says, "Very well. You can expect your arrival within perhaps 2 to 3 hours, pending payment, of course."
Of course. How much is this consultation?
Well, as you understand, this is not the easiest work that I've ever done, but we were able to find something that may help you. I think that perhaps for my time, and he kind of like, you see him kind of like gander at a clock. Entrapment. You see him kind of gander at a clock, and he goes, "I would say a sum of perhaps 4,000 credits would cover it."
Indeed. Of course, just as I bring out my cred chip and transfer.
Yep, so you boop, 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 boop. Transfer over, and you can see him kind of like glance down at his data slab, and he sees like the loading bar and then a thumbs up emoji. And he nods and he smiles and he says, "Very well. I wish you the best of luck, and I truly do hope that our paths cross again, Dr. Fisher.
Yes. This.
For your sake and mine."
Of course. And
Yeah, and he gives you like a much more serious look when he says that.
yeah. I probably pull up my collar a little bit and say, "Yes, of course."
Yeah, and you depart into the cold. So Dr. Fisher's been gone for perhaps 2 hours now. What's the group of you do? Are you just cabin fevering it up in the hotel room?
I'd probably go out and walk around.
Okay. Anything in particular,
Yeah.
or just to catch some fresh air?
Yeah, just walking around.
Okay.
And then yeah, walking around for now.
Okay. What's the thought process running through your head?
Trying to find a solution to a problem.
Yeah, totally.
Some sort of solution. So at the moment, I haven't come up with a good one. I've got some options, but I don't know if any of them are. One of them definitely won't work. The other one would work, but it would be terrible. So
Wait, can I hear that one? Just out of
No. Wait. I want to see how this plays out.
that would be kill the crew and get paid myself.
That
Hey,
is-
I wasn't in the hit. Can we just point that out?
Okay, they kill the people that are on the contract and get paid myself.
Yeah, totally. So you proceed back, Dr. Fisher. I assume as long as Oscar and Gogo don't have anything that they would like to do within these couple of hours.
He has some things he'd like to do, but he doesn't feel comfortable sending messages right now, and he's most certainly not going to leave Chan
Sure. Yeah.
sitting there.
Yeah.
You know, if people come asking questions, he needs to be present. So he is probably just, you know, kind of milling around inside his own head.
Sure. What about Gogo?
I think Gogo is obsessively checking and refreshing her inbox.
Yeah.
It just because reasons. And I do feel like at some point, though, if it's just Oscar and her sitting in the room with Chan,
Yeah.
no air quotes, Arthur, I think at some point she would break the silence and just say, why are you... No, let me start over. Do you think what we're doing is the right answer?
There's no correct answer here. I went with what I believed to be the most certain option. Whether Chan is what you want, I think may even be unlikely, but gotta try. If you started to ask why I was doing this, I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel a personal responsibility. Could have done better. Did everything I could, but still failed them. So here we are.
Gogo nods. And she just says, well, it's good to know that I'm not the only one. Like, kind of leaves that hanging in the air for a moment.
Let me put it a different way, though. Were you not to be as invested, Chan would be in a kindly marked grave back on the planet we initially got that consultation on. I don't know that this is the best thing. I don't think I'm qualified to make that choice, but we've been over that. Think you know better than the rest of us what he would have wanted, so here we are.
I think Gogo actually is kind of taken aback by the fact that Oscar is so invested in her feelings.
Yeah, totally.
On the subject, because she didn't really feel like they had that much of a connection, and I think she doesn't know how to respond to that, and I think she just kind of says, well,
so it's partly that. I just want to say, like, it's partly that, but also he doesn't know what Chan would have wanted. And part of what he just said was, you knew him better.
Either way, though, you cared enough about her or him or both, right? Like, one way or the other, it doesn't really matter in Gogo's mind anyway. Yeah, so I think she just looks at you and she just says, I think you understand that I have to at least try, and I appreciate you backing me up on this. It means a lot.
If it's in alignment with what you want, it's all the better. You all, at least occasionally, pay me to try and keep you safe. This is an extension of that. Everything else aside. What good would I be if I didn't try and help?
Gogo kind of chuckles at the fact that he says we pay him.
He did say it occasionally.
True.
There was a dig in there.
I know.
I mean, you got paid this month.
Regardless, I think that Gogo just kind of leaves it at that. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the Gogo realizes there's a connection to someone else besides the only two people she thought she ever liked anymore. And I think that the scene before we take our break real quick is we see Dr. Fisher kind of walking and kind of like
a reroll quick.
Nervously checking his compad as he's walking down the street. And then we begin to zoom out on Dr. Fisher. And then we see like kind of that clicking, like the shutter of a camera when you're changing the view. And we zoom back.
Balls.
And we see from a great distance, it keeps going quite far. And we see the barrel of a very ornate rifle. And we travel up the barrel and we see the very ornate scope on it. Very finely crafted. And the weapon is kind of the main focus. And then as we get closer to the back side of the weapon, we see the brim of a straw hat come into focus and kind of proceeds up. And we don't see the face of the individual that's wearing it, covered in very dark kind of clothing. And this individual kind of goes to one knee and pulls the weapon up on the shoulder. And we see reach up to their mouth and pull out this long piece of straw that they were chewing on, and kind of flick it to the ground and turn around and kind of walk off the area. And then we'll take a break.
So this is where we introduce Will's Claire's character? Is that what's happening here?
Also, I should mention that on the weapon, close to the buttstock, when we see it when he lifts it up, and it is a him, I guess I should just say that, not to be super mysterious. He lifts it up. We see on the buttstock there's a symbol emblazoned, and we don't recognize the script of it. It is like an unknown language. But we get the translation underneath, right? And the translation, it says V.A. in parentheses or quotation marks, like as the translation. So
Devin's gonna need a towel.
I need a thing.
And then we're gonna take a break. So let's be back at 10 after.
All right.
Okay. See you guys then. Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick little break. We'll be back in just a minute.